Jai Hind everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel which is Explore Yourselves, Banking and General Knowledge etc. Please subscribe to the channel and also please do like and share and leave your suggestions in the comment section. The events of 13 September 2024 are followed. Bengali date 27 ভাদ্র 1431. As per Benimadopsil Ponjika, today's Tithi, Shukla Dashami and up to 1739 hours. And after that Shukla Ekadashi. Nakshatra. Today's Nakshatra is Purvashada Nakshatra and up to 1811 hours and after that Uttarashada Nakshatra. Today is 257th day of the year. There are then 109 days left in 2024. Today is 37th Friday of 2024. Today is Positive Thinking Day. Positive Thinking Day is on September 13 on the National Day calendar as a day to promote the power of positivity and the impact this simple act can have on your life. Today is National Peanut Day. On September 13, National Peanut Day pays homage to mighty and tasty peanut. We may drive you nuts after we share some compressed information about peanuts. Today is International Chocolate Day. The US National Confectioners Association lists 13 September as International Chocolate Day, coinciding with the birth date of Milton S. Hershey, September 13, 1857. Ghana, the second largest producer of cocoa, celebrates Chocolate Day on February 14. In Latvia, World Chocolate Day is celebrated on July 11. Philip III, crowned King of Spain and Portugal. King Philip III of Spain, Philip II of Portugal, crowned on 13 September 1598, was virtuous in his private affairs but indifferent as a ruler and extravagant in his spending, exacerbating Spain's growing economic problems. Today is birth anniversary of Mr. Hans Christian Graham, 13 September 1853 to 14 November 1938. Hans Christian Joachim Graham was a Danish bacteriologist noted for his development of the Gram stain, still a standard technique to classify bacteria and make them more visible under a microscope. Hans Christian Gram, the inventor of the Gram staining technique, was a pioneering biologist who devised the system of classification which led to as many as 30,000 formally named species of bacteria being investigated. Today is birth anniversary of Mr. Arthur Henderson, 13 September 1863 to 20th October 1935. Arthur Henderson was a British iron molder and Labour politician. He was the first Labour cabinet minister, won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1934, and uniquely served three separate terms as leader of the Labour Party in three different decades. He was popular among his colleagues, who called him Uncle Arthur in acknowledgement of his integrity, his devotion to the cause, and his imperturbability. He was a transitional figure whose policies were at first close to those of the Liberal Party. The trades unions rejected his emphasis on arbitration and conciliation and thwarted his goal of unifying the Labour Party and the trade unions. Today is birth anniversary of Mr. Rajinikanth Sen, poet, 26 July 1965 to 13 September 1910. Rajinikanth Sen, also known as Kantukavi, was a Bengali poet and composer, known for his devotional compositions as well as patriotic songs. Today is birth anniversary of Sir Robert Robinson, 13 September 1886 to 8 February 1975. Sir Robert Robinson was a British organic chemist and Nobel laureate recognized in 1947 for his research on plant dyestuffs and alkaloids. In 1947, he also received the Medal of Freedom with silver palm. He was knighted in 1939 and appointed to the Order of Merit in 1949. Robinson's extensive researches in organic chemistry have dealt not only with the structure and synthesis of many organic bodies but also with the electrochemical mechanism of organic reactions. Today is birth anniversary of Mr. Leopold Stefan Ruzicka, 13 September 1887 to 26 September 1976. Leopold Ruzicka was a Croatian Swiss scientist and joint winner of the 1939 Nobel Prize in Chemistry for his work on polymethylenes and higher terpenes, including the first chemical synthesis of male sex hormones. He worked most of his life in Switzerland and received 8 doctorates, honors, causa in science, medicine, and law, 7 prizes and medals, and 24 honorary memberships in chemical, biochemical, and other scientific societies. Today is death anniversary of Mr. Jyotindranath Das. Jyotindranath Das, better known as Jyotin Das, was an Indian independence activist and revolutionary who worked to make India independent from the British Raj and was a member of the Hindustan Socialist Republican Association. He died in the Lahore Central Jail after a 63-day hunger strike. Today is birth anniversary of Mr. Ronald Dahl, 13 September 1916 to 23rd November 1990. Ronald Dahl was a British author of popular children's literature and short stories, a poet, screenwriter, and a wartime fighter ace. His books have sold more than 300 million copies worldwide. He has been called one of the greatest storytellers for children of the 20th century. Known by many for his books for young readers, Dahl was also a prolific writer of short stories and fictions for adults, and his dark humor and wild imagination has captivated readers of all ages for decades. Today is birth anniversary of Mr. Shane Warne, 13 September 1969 to 4th March 2022. Shane Keith Warne was an Australian international cricketer whose career ran from 1992 to 2007. Widely considered to be one of the greatest cricketers of all time, Warne played as a right-arm leg-spin bowler and a lower-order right-handed batsman for Victoria, Hampshire, the Melbourne Stars, and Australia. Warne also played for and coached the Rajasthan Royals, including captaining the team to victory in the inaugural season of the IPL. He was an Australian cricketer who was one of the most effective bowlers in history with good disc on his top spinner and fine control on 2 or 3 different googlies. 1500 First European factory opened in India. September 13, 1500, Portuguese explorer Pedro Alvarez Cabral arrived at Calicut in Kerala and established a factory which was the first European factory in India. 1845 Discovery of Faraday effect. On September 13, 1845, Michael Faraday discovered the Faraday effect, which dealt with the influence of a magnetic field on polarized light. 1971, the World Hockey Association was formed. The World Hockey Association was a professional ice hockey major league that operated in North America from 1972 to 1979. It was the first major league to compete with the National Hockey League NHL since the collapse of the Western Hockey League in 1926. Although the WHA was not the first league since time to attempt to challenge the NHL's supremacy, it was by far the most successful in the modern era. 1940, Italy invades Egypt. The Italian invasion of Egypt in WWII lasted from September 13 to September 16, 1940, and was a strategic military operation against the British Army for the purpose of invading and seizing Egypt during the North African campaign. 1993, Mary Kay launches her namesake company. On September 13, 1963, Mary Kay has opened her first store, Beauty by Mary Kay, in Dallas, Texas. 1971, Attica prison standoff ends with 32 inmates and 11 hostages dead. On September 13, 1971, a four-day inmates rebellion at the Attica Correctional Facility in western New York ended as police and guards stormed the prison. The ordeal and final assault claimed the lives of 32 inmates and 11 hostages. 1993, Israel-Palestinian peace accord signed. September 13, 1993, Israeli Prime Minister Jack Robin and Palestinian Liberation Organization (PLO) negotiator Mohammed Abbas signed a declaration of principles on interim self-government arrangements, commonly referred to as the Oslo Accord, at the White House. Israel accepted the PLO as the representatives of the Palestinians, and the PLO renounced terrorism and recognized Israel's right to exist in peace. Both sides agreed that a Palestinian Authority (PA) would be established and assume governing responsibilities in the West Bank and Gaza Strip over a five-year period. Today's 13th September highlight in history. In 1788, the Congress of the Confederation authorized the first national election and declared New York City the temporary national capital. In 1803, Commodore John Berry, considered by many the father of the American Navy, died in Philadelphia. In 1814, during the War of 1812, British naval forces began bombarding Fort McHenry in Baltimore but were driven back by American defenders in a battle that lasted until the following morning. In 1948, Republican Margaret Chase Smith of Maine was elected to the US Senate, also became the most women to serve in both houses of Congress. In 1962, Mississippi Governor Rose Barnett rejected the US Supreme Court's order for the University of Mississippi to admit James Meredith, a black student, declaring in a televised address, "We will not drink from the cup of genocide." In 1993, at the White House, Israeli Prime Minister Jack Robin and PLO Chairman Yasser Arafat shook hands after signing an accord granting limited Palestinian autonomy. In 1996, rapper Tupac Shakur died at a Las Vegas hospital 6 days after he was wounded in a drive-by shooting. He was 25. In 1997, a funeral was held in Calcutta, India for Nobel Peace Laureate Mother Teresa. In 1998, former Alabama Governor George C. Wallace died in Montgomery at age 79. In 2001, 2 days after the 9/11 terror attacks, the first two jetliners returned to the national skies, but several major airports remained closed and others opened only briefly. President George Bush visited the injured Pentagon workers and said he would carry the nation's prayers to New York. In 2008, rescue crews ventured out to pluck people from their homes in an all-out search for thousands of Texans who had stubbornly stayed behind overnight to face hurricane-like. In 2010, Rafael Nadal beat Novak Djokovic to win the first US Open title and complete a career Grand Slam. In 2021, school began for about a million New York City public school students in the nation's largest experiment of in-person learning during the coronavirus pandemic. In 2022, Ken Starr, a former federal appellate judge and prominent attorney whose criminal investigation of Bill Clinton led to the president's impeachment, died at age 76. Thank you very much for your patience.